Episode 9 is set to conclude both the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself by writer and director JJ Abrams. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, the one big thing that a lot of people are really looking forward to seeing in Episode 9 is, of course, the return of the Knights of Ren, and yes, they are back in this movie, which is honestly a great thing. I've honestly been waiting for them to actually appear in a Star Wars film ever since I got a glimpse of them in The Force Awakens, and I'm sure a lot of you guys out there agree as well, that they are a very mysterious group of characters that just seem to be very intriguing when it comes to the Star Wars franchise, since they are associated with Kylo Ren. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. However, I wanted to go over a piece of the second act of the movie for Episode 9, and if it does indeed make it to the finalized version of the movie, it seems as so that we are going to be getting a big clash between the Knights of Ren and Maz Kanata's pirates. Specifically, a description of Kylo Ren and his Knights of Ren exiting off of a large shuttle on a jungle world, which is said to be the location of an important base that once belonged to the Rebellion. The Resistance is coming here for supplies such as weapons, ships, and communication purposes to spread the word around the galaxy. It's described as a race for Kylo and his knights to intervene before word gets out to the whole entire galaxy to multiple star systems by the Resistance themselves to join the fight against the First Order. This world is said to be the set of the Outer Rim, just before the Unknown Regions. Poe, Finn, and Chewbacca, Lando Calrissian, and more are on a mission to get into the base and get the communications going, while Rey is on board of the Falcon repairing some damage to the Falcon, indicating this may have happened during a chase or space battle. This is actually said to take place in the middle of the second act of the film. Maz Kanata and her band of pirates are actually guarding the walls of the base. It's implied that Rey senses a presence, and so does Kylo Ren, which eventually brings Kylo and his knights into a clash with Maz Kanata and her band of pirates. Rey exits the Falcon and ignites her lightsaber while the knights fight the pirates. Kylo Ren stands on the battlefield igniting his while looking at Rey. They engage in a very brief duel around the length of when Kylo Ren fought Luke. Before Leia and her backup arrives, the duel comes to a sudden conclusion, with an explosion between both Kylo and Rey. Kylo and the Knights of Ren seem to have the upper hand as Rey, Maz, and what's left of her crew begins to retreat and board the large Resistance cruiser, while Lando, Chewie, Finn, and Poe board the Falcon and escape, echoing the moment in A New Hope. It's described that the Resistance only succeeded in reaching around half of the star systems they planned to reach out to, and seems to be a victory for Kylo and his knights to a certain level. So what I really wanted to go over First off, has all to do with Kylo and his knights. Now, this matches directly up with the male actors in their 20s who have a lot of martial arts training that will be working with Adam Driver heavily this month of December over at Cardington and Pinewood. So that's great. The Knights of Ren are back. You know, the one thing that a lot of people were very concerned about when it came to Episode 9 was whether or not we were even going to get the Knights of Ren. But they are indeed coming back into Episode 9. And if this whole entire sequence does make it to the finalized version of the movie, it seems to be a very action-packed moment and could very well tell us that we are actually going to be getting 2 lightsaber duels in Episode 9. This one is actually described as being very brief between both Kylo and Rey. Meanwhile, there is going to be a major lightsaber duel within the third act of the movie. Again, this is something like you would see in the prequel trilogy. Take Revenge of the Sith for a great example. If you look at the battle between both Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Dooku, it's a rather brief duel, I would definitely say, right? Then you have the major duel at the very end of the movie between, of course, Anakin and Obi-Wan. It seems as if so that JJ Abrams wants to do something similar in a sense in Episode 9. I also wanted to focus on the concept here of course, Poe, Finn, Lando Calrissian, Chewbacca, Rey, and Maz Kanata and her band of pirates all trying to reach out to the rest of the galaxy by use of communications inside of this rebellion base. Now, it sounds like something similar of what they were trying to do at the very end of The Last Jedi inside of that base on Crate. However, this time it seems as if they are only half successful, reaching about 50% of the amount of star systems that they wanted to reach out to. So this is somewhat of a victory between both Kylo and his knights, as well as Rey and her crew. Honestly, I'm kind of liking that idea where, you know, Rey kind of loses and Kylo Ren also is kind of victorious, but at the same time, you know, they actually had the upper hand while Kylo did as well. I kind of like that idea, but I feel like that Kylo Ren needs to be, you know, a type of figure that wins over Rey, even all the more so in Episode 9, since he lost to her multiple times in the sequel trilogy. Now, the other thing that I do want to go over is, of course, how the Falcon has damage. Rey repairing some damage on the Falcon. After all, she is very much like how Anakin was in the prequel trilogy. She knows how to fix things, she's a great fixer, and so it only makes sense for her to be fixing parts of the interior of the Falcon. Again, it sounds like something from the original trilogy in which the Falcon got some minor damages and R2-D2 kind of starts repairing it up. In this case, it's actually Rey repairing it up after either a space battle or maybe even just a chase scene by some TIE fighters or TIE bombers for all we know. Now, I think that the great thing about this jungle world is that it's based in the Outer Rim, just before we reach the unknown regions. And we're not quite sure what planet this really is. It could be Batuu, it could be an entirely new planet in Episode 9. Honestly, guys, I'm getting very pumped into seeing this movie. It sounds as if, you know, JJ is really just trying to go all out and make it an all-out war, and a war to end all wars. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.